Are you truly living or just existing? Have you ever sat quietly in the middle of a very ordinary day and suddenly asked yourself a question that feels so simple yet cuts so deeply? Am I truly living? Or am I just waking up every morning, moving from one task to the next, replying to messages, fulfilling responsibilities, getting tired through another day, only to repeat it all again tomorrow? There are people who never completely fall apart in life. They still go to work, still smile, still answer politely, still take care of others, still complete what needs to be done. But somewhere deep inside, they no longer feel that they are truly alive. They do not really touch the new day. They do not really taste their food. They do not truly hear the wind, see the light, smell the fragrance of a fresh morning, or feel the quiet beating of their own heart. They still exist, but the aliveness within them has become faint. And maybe that person is you, not because you are weak, not because you are ungrateful, and not because your life is missing something major, but because in this modern world, human beings are slowly being pulled away from themselves. The mind is always full. The eyes see too much, but do not see deeply. The ears hear too much, but no longer truly listen. The tongue tastes too much, but no longer feels real flavor. The body moves through so many places, yet cannot truly touch the present moment. We are surrounded by speed, by information, by worry, by comparison, by the pressure to become someone, achieve something, prove something. And in all of that noise, the first thing we often lose is our connection to the life that is here. The Buddha never taught people to go searching for another life in order to find peace. He did not tell us that we must change the whole outside world before we can awaken. What he pointed to was something much deeper. He invited human beings to return to the body, return to the breath, return to each step, return to direct, honest, quiet contact with the present moment. Because only there can we truly touch life. There is a profound difference between existing and living. Existing is when you are simply kept going. Living is when you are present. Existing is when you are carried by momentum. Living is when you awaken in the middle of what is familiar. Existing is when you do everything without truly being inside any of it. Living is when you are fully present in a moment that seems very small, very ordinary, yet holds the miracle of life itself. Perhaps it has been a long time since you truly looked at the sky. Not the way we glance up for a second before lowering our eyes back to a screen, but really look long enough and deeply enough to see the light changing across the clouds. To feel that the open space out there is also opening a quiet space within you. Perhaps it has been a long time since you truly heard a sound, not hearing while your mind is still busy elsewhere, but listening as if it were the first sound you had ever heard in your life. Perhaps it has been a long time since you truly ate a meal with gratitude, truly felt water on your skin while bathing, or truly felt your feet touching the ground. We often think we feel empty because we are missing something big. But sometimes what we are missing is not a greater achievement, another relationship, another place to live, or another version of our life. Sometimes what we are missing is simply presence. We do not lack life. We lack contact with life. That is why there are people who live in beautiful places and still feel meaningless. There are people who achieve so much and still do not feel fulfilled. There are people surrounded by comfort and convenience, and yet their souls remain dry. Not because they have nothing to live for, but because they are no longer truly inside what they already have. Their minds are too far ahead or too far behind. The mind rushes toward the future with worry and lack. It runs back into the past with regret, self-blame, and wounds that have not healed. And the present moment where life is actually happening is left abandoned. In Buddhist teaching, suffering does not arise only from obvious pain or loss. Suffering also comes from ignorance, from not seeing clearly. And one of the most subtle forms of ignorance is not realizing that we have been living in a half-awake, half-asleep state for a very long time. We think we are fine because we are still functioning. We think we are living because we are still busy. We think we are on the right path because others look at us and assume we are okay. But deep inside, we no longer feel the life moving through our days. Some people have not really heard silence in years. They need to turn something on the moment they are alone. Music, a video, a conversation, a notification. Because when everything becomes quiet, they begin to face the emptiness within themselves. Some people have not eaten slowly in years. They eat while working, while scrolling, while thinking. Some people have not walked like a living human being in years. They only move like a body being transported from one place to another. Some people have not looked at their own face in the mirror with gentleness in a very long time. They only look to fix, to judge, to see what is not enough. The numbing of the five senses does not happen in one day. It comes very quietly. When we live too fast, the eyes no longer know how to see deeply. When we live in too much noise, the ears no longer recognize subtle sound. When we live under too much stress, the nose no longer detects delicate fragrance. When we eat unconsciously, the tongue no longer knows what real taste is. When we live disconnected from the body, the skin and flesh are no longer a field of presence, but merely a tool we drag around. Many people think mindfulness is something distant, slow, and impractical for modern life. But in truth, mindfulness does not take life away from you. It gives life back to you. Mindfulness does not force you to leave the world. It helps you stop leaving yourself. Mindfulness does not turn you into someone else. It helps you return to being fully human. When someone begins to live mindfully, the first thing they recover is not perfect peace or some grand happiness. The first thing they recover is the ability to feel. They begin to notice that they are breathing. They hear birds in the morning. They feel warm water on their hands when washing their face. They realize how tired they are. They sense a small sadness passing through their chest. They see sunlight falling on the table. They taste tea again. They hear another person, not only with their ears, but with the presence of their whole heart. That is when a human being stops living like a machine, programmed by schedules, reactions, and fear. That is when they begin to live like a living being that can still tremble at small things. And, strangely enough, it is those small things that heal the deepest parts of the soul. You do not need to wait until you are completely burned out before allowing yourself to wake up. You do not need to wait for a retreat, a vacation, a spiritual crisis, or some major life event in order to begin living more deeply. Awakening does not depend on where you go. It depends on how you are present where you already are. Right now, as you are hearing these words, perhaps you are sitting in a familiar room. Perhaps there is soft light outside your window. Perhaps a very gentle breeze is moving through the air. Perhaps there is a background sound that you usually never notice. And perhaps inside your chest there is a quiet kind of exhaustion. If you pause for just a few seconds, only a few seconds, and truly feel, you may discover that life has never left you. You have simply been away from it for too long. The Buddha taught awareness not to help people become some distant holy image. He taught as someone who deeply understood the fragility of the human mind. He knew that if the mind is always being carried away, then human beings will not only suffer because of circumstances, but because they lose the ability to touch what is real right in front of them. We suffer not only because we have problems, we also suffer because we are not truly here to hold ourselves. There are mornings when you wake up heavy and do not know why. There are afternoons when your heart feels tired, as if it has traveled very far, even though your body has sat in one place all day. There are nights when you cannot sleep deeply, because thoughts keep circling endlessly in your mind. Much of this exhaustion does not come only from work, people, or responsibilities. It comes from having lived too long without truly returning to your own body and mind. Every day, we let the mind drain us in countless directions, but rarely gather it back and ask, how am I right now? And in that way, little by little, we lose contact with the body. We do not know that our shoulders are tense. We do not know that our jaw is clenched. We do not know that our breathing has become shallow. We do not know that our heart is tired. We do not know that a small sadness has been sitting silently inside us for days. Not knowing does not mean it is not there. So much subtle pain lives in us simply because we have never truly paused long enough to see it. The path back does not begin with something grand. It begins when we are willing to slow down just enough to see without judgment, to see without rushing to fix, to see and simply be present with what is. This kind of seeing is already a form of healing. Now let us go a little deeper into each doorway that life has quietly placed within your own body. The five senses are not merely tools to receive the world. When lit by mindfulness, they become 5 doors leading us back to the present. And the present, as the Buddha showed with his awakened life, is the only place where life is truly happening. First, the eyes. How long has it been since you truly looked? We see countless things every day, but most of the time we only glance. We look in order to classify, react, compare, check, and judge. Very rarely do we simply look in order to see. To see like a child seeing light through leaves for the first time. To see as if the world were not something guaranteed. When you truly look, the world changes. Not because it is different, but because you are present. A leaf is no longer just a leaf. You begin to see the fine veins across it. The shades of green that are not exactly the same. The soft light resting at its edge, the quiet life working inside such a small form. A cup of tea is no longer just tea. You see the steam rising, the gentle color of the liquid, your own hand holding it. A familiar face is no longer simply someone you have known for years. You notice the tiredness behind those eyes, something deeply human in them that is asking to be understood. Awakened eyes do not only look at the world, they look into the self. They notice when the heart is unsettled. They notice when we are trying to run away. They notice when we are being too harsh with ourselves. Sometimes what we need is not to become stronger, but to clearly see how tired we really are. Right seeing is the beginning of compassion. When you see your own pain and do not turn away, healing begins. Then come the ears. There are people who hear all day long and yet have not truly listened in years. They hear in order to reply. They hear in order to argue. They hear while their minds are already somewhere else. But mindful listening is something entirely different. It is when you allow sound to enter you, without instantly labeling it, without reacting immediately, without placing your own story over it. Try this one morning before opening your phone. Sit quietly and listen. Listen to the fan turning. Listen to a car passing. Listen to birds far away. Listen to your home waking up. Listen to your own breathing. At first it may seem ordinary, but if you listen more deeply, you will begin to notice something strange and beautiful. Every sound is happening within a larger field of silence, and that silence is not far away. It is already within you. Many people fear silence, because in silence, what has been hidden begins to appear. But it is also in silence that we hear the true voice of the heart. We begin to know what is tiring us. We begin to realize how long we have lived away from ourselves. Ears that awaken do not only hear the world, they also hear what has never been spoken aloud in our own inner life. Next is the sense of smell. This may be the sense modern people pay the least attention to, yet it can be one of the most powerful doors back to the present moment. A scent can bring back memory, emotion, and presence in an instant. The smell of soil after rain, the scent of wood in a quiet room, the fragrance of hot tea, the smell of old books, the scent of a child's hair, the air of early morning, the smell of your home after returning from a long day. These things are so delicate that if we live too fast, we pass right through them without ever noticing that life has just touched us. When you begin paying attention to the fragrances around you, you are training the mind to return to what is here. You do not need to think much. You only need to notice. Ah, this is the scent of morning. Ah, this is the smell of clean water on the skin. Ah, this is the fragrance of food just cooked. That simple act of noticing helps the mind wander less. It draws us out of our endless thoughts and returns us to the moment we are living. Then comes taste. Perhaps never in human history have people eaten so much while tasting so little. We eat in a hurry. We eat while mentally busy. We eat to numb or fill some emotional emptiness. We eat without truly being present with the food. There are meals that disappear so quickly the body becomes full, but the soul remains hungry. When we eat mindfully, food is no longer only fuel. It becomes a meeting. You notice the colors of the food. You smell it. You feel its texture, warmth, flavor, the subtle changes with each bite. You realize how much has come together for this meal to reach you. Sunlight, rain, soul, the labor of those who grew it, transported it, cooked it. Suddenly, even a simple bite of rice becomes a reminder of the deep interconnection between you and life. A person who eats in awareness gradually needs food less as a way to numb emotion. They begin to know when they are truly hungry and when they are simply empty inside. They learn how to nourish themselves not only with food, but with presence. And that is a profound shift, because many times what we think we need more of is only what we have never truly touched in the first place. Finally, there is touch. The body is where life is always happening before the mind can name it. A breeze touching the skin, water touching the hands, sunlight warming the shoulder, feet touching the ground, a heartbeat knocking softly in the chest, the feel of fabric on the body, tension in the neck, ache in the back, the softening that comes when you take a deeper breath. All of these are very real messages from the present moment. But if we live mostly in our heads, we are barely in the body anymore. We simply carry it around like a vehicle. Mindfulness brings us back to the body, not so that we cling to it, but so that we reconnect the thread between ourselves and life. When you feel your feet on the ground, you are not so easily carried away. When you feel the breath moving in and out, you are not so lost. When you notice your shoulders are tight and gently let them soften, you are practicing compassion with yourself. When you place a hand on your chest and rest there for a few breaths, you are saying something very deep to yourself without words. I am here with you. I am here. Awareness does not disappear the moment you leave your meditation cushion. It must walk with you into ordinary life. Otherwise, meditation becomes only a pleasant moment, separate from the rest of your living rather than a way of being. The beauty of mindfulness is that it does not require life to be perfect before it can be practiced. It only invites you to be more present inside the life that is already unfolding. You can practice while walking. You do not need to walk beautifully or very slowly like in a photo. You only need to know that you are walking while you walk. The foot lifts, moves forward, touches the earth, weight shifts. The breath accompanies the movement. The body is moving. The ground is holding you. A human being is truly walking on the earth, not a restless mind dragging a body behind it. You can practice while washing dishes. Instead of treating it as a task to finish as quickly as possible, you can feel the warm water on your hands. Hear the sound of plates touching. See soap bubbles reflecting the light. You can allow a small task to become a place where the mind rests. Not everything needs to become a race. Some of the smallest tasks can become places where the soul exhales. You can practice while bathing. Water moves over your shoulders. Warmth or coolness touches the skin. There is the scent of soap, the moisture in the air, the sensation that the dust of the day is being rinsed away. If you are truly present, you may realize that some kind of tiredness do not need advice. They need water, silence, and a gentle return to the body. Some days, a human being does not need a great answer. They only need a quiet moment of tenderness with themselves. You can practice while drinking tea or coffee in the morning. Do not pick up your phone immediately. Let the first few minutes of the day remain yours. Hold the cup. Feel its warmth. Smell its fragrance. Taste the first sip. Let morning enter you consciously. A deeply lived day does not begin with getting more done. It begins with being fully present in the very first moments. You can practice while speaking with someone. Listen without rushing to insert your own story. Look at them with real presence. Many people do not need a solution. They need to be heard by a mind that is not in a hurry. And so do you. When someone is truly present with you, you feel yourself become human again. You feel less invisible. That is the power of mindfulness in human relationship. You can practice by sitting near a window at the end of the day. Just sit. Watch the light change. Hear the atmosphere soften. Feel the tired breath inside you. You do not need to fix anything. You do not need to turn the moment into a method. Just be there. Healing often comes not from doing more, but from stopping long enough for life to reach you. There is something very important to understand. When you begin to slow down and feel more, you will not only encounter ease and peace, you may also touch sadness, loneliness, exhaustion, the forgotten parts of yourself that have been left alone for a long time. But that does not mean mindfulness is making you weaker. It is only opening your eyes. Those things were already there. You were simply moving too fast to hear them. And this is one of the most compassionate truths of the awakened path. We do not return to ourselves in order to judge ourselves for having lived unconsciously. We return to embrace the parts of us that have endured too much for too long without being noticed. Mindfulness is not a harsh spotlight. It is a gentle lamp. It does not shine on us to accuse us. It shines so that we no longer lose ourselves in darkness. If today you realize that you have been living half asleep, for a long time, please do not despair. This realization is not failure. It is the first moment of waking up. The one who has not yet realized is still far away. But the moment you see that you have wandered, the path home has already begun. The truth is, we do not need an extraordinary life in order to feel grateful. We only need to become awake enough to see that the ordinary is already miraculous. A breath entering lungs that can still open is a miracle. A cool sip of water going down the throat is a miracle. Being able to see the morning light is a miracle. An embrace whose warmth you can still feel is a miracle. A simple meal you can still sit down and eat is a miracle. But if the mind is always busy and dulled, miracles can be present and we still walk past them like the blind. Perhaps that is one of the quiet tragedies of modern humanity. It is not that we have nothing. It is that we can no longer feel what we have. And when we can no longer feel it, we begin searching for more experiences, more stimulation, more achievement, more noise, more recognition. But strangely, the more we add, the harder it becomes to feel full. Because what is missing is not the quantity of experience. What is missing is the depth of presence. The Buddha spoke of craving, attachment, and the mind that is always seeking. Much of suffering comes from believing that happiness lies in the next thing, the next moment, the next success, the next message, the next door. But in that endless running, we lose the only moment that is real, this one. And when we lose this moment, we lose life. Living does not mean always feeling joyful. Truly living does not mean that everything is beautiful all the time. Living means being able to be present with beauty without becoming numb, and present with pain without running away. Living means being able to feel a sad day without shutting down. Living means knowing when your heart is tired and allowing yourself to pause. Living means hearing birdsong and letting it actually touch you. Living means crying without shame. Living means laughing and truly being there inside the laughter. Living means knowing that you are here. Now, if you are willing, let us enter a deeper silence together, not to analyze anymore, but to directly experience what these words have been trying to bring you back to. Allow your body to settle a little more comfortably. You do not need to force yourself into a perfect posture. Just let yourself be steady enough and soft enough. If you want, you may close your eyes or leave them gently open. Let your hands rest somewhere easy, and then without trying to change anything, simply notice that the breath is here. Breathing in, breathing out. There is no need to breathe deeply. No need to make it beautiful. No need to do it correctly. Just know, I am breathing. Maybe your mind is still thinking right now. That is okay. Let those thoughts be there like clouds moving across the sky. You do not need to chase them away. Just return to the real feeling of the breath. Air entering through the nose. The chest rising slightly. The belly perhaps moving a little. Then, the breath leaving. The body softening just a bit. Feel your feet, whether they are touching the floor, the bed, or the chair. Feel that contact. The earth is holding you. Not as a philosophy, as a fact. Right now, you are being supported. Feel your back, your shoulders, your neck. Maybe somewhere there is still tension. You do not need to fix it right away. Just know it is there. Just place the gentle light of awareness on that place. Many times the body softens, not because we force it, but because for the first time it feels listened to. Now listen to the sounds around you. Sounds nearby, sounds far away. No need to name them, just listen. And within all those sounds, feel the quiet space that holds everything. That quietness does not fight the sound. It is simply spacious enough to contain it all. Your mind can become like that too. If there is any fragrance in the air, even the faintest one, notice it. If there is nothing distinct, just feel the coolness, dryness, or moisture of the air entering your nose. That is enough. That means you are here. If there is still any taste on your lips, from tea, from water, from the air itself, notice it. There is no need to search for something special. Life is always entering us through the smallest things. And now, bring your attention to the area of your chest. Not to force yourself to feel peaceful, just to ask gently, how is my heart today? Maybe there is no answer in words, only a feeling, a heaviness, a tiredness, a little emptiness,
a little softness.
Whatever it is, please do not turn away. Stay with it kindly, like someone sitting beside a child without needing to say much, only letting it know that it is no longer alone. You do not need to become someone else in this moment. You do not need to appear strong. You do not need to understand your whole life. You do not need to heal everything all at once. Just breathe. Just feel. Just be here. This is living, not dramatic, not glorious, not something that needs recognition. Just a human being, truly returning to the life that is still here within them. If every day you can give yourself even a few minutes like this, you will begin to notice something miraculous. Your outer life may not immediately change, but the way you inhabit your life will change. You react less impulsively. You see more clearly when you are tired. You know how to pause before complete exhaustion. You feel more from the smallest things. You stop abandoning yourself so easily. You begin to live with the sensitivity of a soul still alive, rather than the numbness of someone who has become too familiar with enduring. And the more you live like this, the more you understand why mindfulness is not merely a technique. It is a way of loving yourself, a way of loving life, a way of keeping your soul from becoming a desert in a world that moves too fast. There will be days when you forget. You forget to breathe slowly, forget to look deeply, forget to listen carefully, forget to return, forget that you ever wanted to live differently at all. That is very human. We all forget. But each time you remember, do not blame yourself. Simply come back. One conscious breath is already coming back. One aware step is already coming back. One moment of truly looking at the evening sky is already coming back. This path does not ask for perfection. It asks only for sincerity and patience. And little by little, you will begin to sense a quiet shift. You are no longer only passing through life, trying to get somewhere else. You begin to live along the way. You no longer wait for major moments before allowing yourself to feel complete. You begin to feel life in a quiet morning, in the scent of sun-dried clothes, in the sound of water boiling, in your hand resting over your heart when you are overwhelmed, in an orange sky at day's end, in the way someone says your name with tenderness.
And perhaps that is true richness.
Not having a lot, but still having the ability to be touched by simple things. Not living fast enough to gather more, but living deeply enough for what you already have to become vivid. Not becoming some ideal image, but returning fully to this body, this mind, this day, this life unfolding one breath at a time now. There is one question worth carrying with you each day. Not how much did I get done today? Not what did others think of me? Not did I move faster than someone else? But this, how present was I in my own life today? Did I truly see anything? Did I truly listen to anything? Did I truly feel my own breath? Did I truly eat even one meal like someone who still knows gratitude? Did I truly touch life today? If not, it is not too late. Life does not ask you to return as a more perfect version of yourself. It only asks you to return as you are, right now. Perhaps starting today you begin very small. Drink your first glass of water slowly. Open the window and look at the sky a little longer. Walk from one room to another while knowing your feet are touching the ground. Turn off one unnecessary noise so you can hear silence again. Eat the first few bites of a meal in full presence. Put your hand on your heart whenever you feel overwhelmed. Look at someone you love with eyes that are truly there. Sit quietly for a few minutes before sleep and ask your heart, where did I go today? And was there any moment when I truly came home? These things sound small, but it is these small things that can gradually save you from a life lived unconsciously. Not through drama, not through some huge transformation, but through the quiet rebirth of sensitivity, tenderness, and presence. One day, you may suddenly realize that you are washing your hands under running water and feeling peace. Sitting in a car and noticing the beauty of the light. Eating a simple piece of bread and feeling grateful. listening to rain and sensing your heart soften, holding someone and truly feeling their presence. That is when you know you are no longer just existing. You are living, and living this way does not make you weaker in this world. On the contrary, it makes you steadier, because someone who knows how to return to the present is not so easily dragged away by outer chaos. Someone who can still feel their own breath is not so easily lost. Someone who can still touch the ordinary with gratitude is not so easily consumed by the endless hunger of this age. Maybe you will not change your whole life in a single night, but you can change the way you are present in your life in a single moment. And many times, that is where everything truly begins to change. Right now, before this ends, I want to invite you to pause one more time, just for a moment. Do not rush into the next thing. Do not immediately return to the old momentum. Stay here with yourself. Breathe in softly. Breathe out slowly. Feel your body sitting here. Feel that your heart is still beating. Feel that life, even if quiet, is still here. Maybe you have been lost for a long time. Maybe you are deeply tired. Maybe you have lived many days like a shadow passing through a schedule. But today, if you have listened this far, then perhaps there is still a beautiful part of you that has never fully fallen asleep. A part that still wants to live more deeply, feel more fully, awaken more clearly. Return home. Please protect that part of you. Do not let a hurried world steal the sensitivity of your soul. Do not let endless busyness make you forget that you were not born only to complete a list of tasks. You were born to live, to see the light, to hear the soft trembling of life, to feel tears and laughter, to touch love, to sit in the quiet of an evening, and know that simply being here is already a miracle. And if tomorrow you forget again, come back again. If the day after you feel tired again, come back and again. If at times you feel yourself drifting far from your own heart, come back again. Through the breath, through your steps, through your gaze, through a sip of tea, through a hand placed over your chest, through gentleness, through mindfulness, because the path back to life is not far away at all. It begins exactly where you were sitting, in this very body, in this very breath, in this very moment. And perhaps truly living does not mean making life constantly extraordinary. Perhaps it means no longer passing unconsciously through what is ordinary. Perhaps it means learning again how to see, hear, touch, taste, and smell like someone who has just awakened from a long sleep. Perhaps it means not allowing the soul to turn to stone. Perhaps it means staying soft enough to be moved by a morning sky, quiet enough to hear your own heart, present enough to know that you are not merely existing. You are living, and when a person is truly living, even the silence around them becomes more gentle. May you from this day forward no longer miss your own life. May your eyes see more deeply. May your ears listen more gently. May your breath become softer. May your body feel more heard. May your heart feel more held. May you, in this world that moves too fast, still keep the ability, to live slowly, truly, and awake. And whenever life becomes too noisy, too rushed, too heavy, may you remember that there is always a place to return to. Not somewhere else, but in the present moment itself, where life is still waiting for you, quietly, patiently, and has never once gone away.